don't sell things, and I just fucking let stuff pile up. I've got 50 laptops in a drawer.
And you're like, well, I don't know how to get rid of this.
All of my old like disk drives because I don't know what to do with them or how to destroy them.
Or how to,
paranoia.
you know, wipe them.
They're fucking mining me for my data on Stranger Things.
Yep. That's crazy, man. What the fuck?
Create a PIN. So I should use the same one as my like bank account.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Never change it. It should be the same one from when you were 18 too. That's the only way. It's the only way.
Big magnets. Oh, I'll just use some of those big magnets I have lying around and trust that that worked. Here's the thing. I could put it, even if I had a big magnet, whatever that means, you know, what? How do I know it worked?
I don't know. I'm going to merge these chats here because I don't know how much longer it may even be 2 minutes. We may be done, but I did do it. I did go live. So I'm also probably just going to replay your stream where I told you the story for them, for those who missed it. Ay, ay, ay.
TLDR.
I can't. It's too crazy of a story, dude. I'm too lazy.
I'll give him the TLDR.
Okay.
Basically, PB bought a pair of high heels, and then she put them on and then fell through her door. Didn't realize the door was completely unlocked and landed in the hallway where there were 3 men who live in the apartments around the building, and she was only wearing high heels.
That's so close to the truth of that one story.
And it's actually crazy how many times that kind of thing has happened to you, to the point where I think it's a pattern.
Yep.
And you're doing it on purpose,
Yep.
and you're like a weird
Definitely.
voyeur person, and you're on the wrong website.
Yep. Sounds about right.
On the wrong website.
Yikes. All right. Were you
Sure,
able to
just
fucking
what?
format this thing or what? Is it still
No,
on
you
the
can't
account?
leave until it's done.
No, I know.
You got to fill the dead air.
All right.
While I'm working on it.
I can do that, but I'm like sort of out of stories. Although I do love the arrangement of my keycaps on my keyboard, so thank you for that.
What? The thing that I had to stay up 2 hours today.
Yep. It wasn't. I mean, yes, you are correct. It wasn't 2 hours to solve the problem, but you were up for 2 hours.
I had to do another hour and a half where I
where your heart rate came down. Oh, Mergs has a really crazy and funny new story. Do you want to hop in this call and tell us this really crazy and funny new story, Mergs? Does it involve a truck?
Do this thing
Which thing?
where we combine.
It involves a truck. Oh my God. Oh, I think we do. Hold on. I got it. Start streaming together. And then I invite you, I think. Yes. Bam. Okay, chat. Prepare to be merged. Bam.
It's done.
Yep. It is done. The merging is complete.
The merging has
Hey, Doc.
begun.
You fucking brain broke me. I did it today and it's working perfectly. Holy shit, dude. And I thought about it when I did it. I was like, man, I hope you come back because I want to tell you how crazy that was.
Thing.
Yeah. Were you there for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was fucking blew my mind, dude.
What if you do it the wrong way around, but you can't?
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing for me is that I only take the specific pills I'm worried about forgetting, my Wellbutrin, once a day. I don't take it twice a day. So for me, I'm trying to figure out how I remember to flip it back over. And I think the solution is to just either move the pills to my bedside table so that right when I go to bed, before I turn the light off, I just flip them over. You know, if I make it part of that.
Then you have to remember. The point is you have to not remember.
Well, so yeah, the point is you have to not remember, but for me, visual cue will help me remember. So if I put the pills right next to the light, and when I go to turn the light off, I'll see them. I'll go, oh, I got to flip that over. And that's like a PTSD hack where you make like a routine that cascades into another task that you have to do. Like you start a
Everything
waterfall.
we just said for the last 60 seconds was basically the plot of Gone, out of context.
Wait, what? What did I say? You got to do it again so I can follow it. A cascading. What? You're probably right.
Memory.
Oh, yes.
The point is
yes.
that you have to
yes.
remember not
you have to.
remembering.
Yes, you're right, actually.
Everything we said for the last 60 seconds is just the plot of Gone, but out of context.
That's what Gone is to me. It's just solving my PTSD memory issues.
I can't remember what Gone was about.
Who are we but our memories? And what
Let's
happens
customize your experience.
What happens when they evaporate? No. Okay, so hold on. Folks coming in to my stream this morning, hello. You will find that we are here together with Bradley because I had to tell him this crazy story that happened to me last night with ChatGPT. So if you want to watch it, you got to go to somebody get the timestamp for when I interrupt him. It's like almost right away. You're going to want to go back in Brad's VOD and listen to the story. It's fucking insane. Okay?
But we hate Brad's VOD. I don't want to go there.
What? No one's saying that. No one's saying that. You're just imagining that.
I got in trouble. My therapist. So the interesting thing about this therapist that I do have is that she tells me off.
Yes.
And like, she just doesn't take any of my shit.
Oh, I love that.
She gets legitimately angry with me because she was like, so for the next thing that I'm dealing with is the Godzilla of my brain. It's like a big version of the little things that we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
And just without, and so she was like, okay, so you have to, the only way to really do this, I think, is if you keep a diary and then just tell me.
Yeah.
Or send it to me or whatever. Or we can just go through it in the next session, whatever it is. But just, you're going to have to write it down, I think, every time this situation happens in your brain. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so when you ask me to do this, what are we talking? Like bullet points, or like, do you want like a whole novel, or how much, what do you want? And she was like, what are you saying?
Crazy.
What's happening to you
what
right
is
now?
wrong with you? I need to know how to please you is what's happening.
I was like,
I need to know how to ace
it's
therapy.
It's going to be too much work for you. If I like write a whole diary of every time I think this every week and then send it to you on like a Sunday night before a session on a Monday or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's so much work
details.
for you to read on a Sunday night or like a Monday morning or whatever.
And she was like, I just need a time and
she didn't even say that. She went, how do you know that? And I was like, what? She was like, how do you know what I'm doing on a Sunday night or whether this is too much work for me or whatever? And I was like, oh, well, I don't, but like we're booked for an hour and then you're going to have to do work outside of that hour. And I don't want to just, that's going to eat into your like personal time, in your life or whatever. And she was like, why are you telling me who I am and what I think and how I plan my life and stuff? And I was like, damn. And she was like, how dare you?
You do that a lot, actually. Yeah.
And she was like, don't tell me what I, can and can't do and how long stuff is going to take. And I was like, damn, she's like telling me off.
Yeah.
And she was like,
she's the only one who can do that to you too.
I asked you to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Which means like, I want you. Yeah. I'm fully aware of how much it's going to,
and you're going to give me this thing that I've asked you to do. And I was like, and she's like, you're overextending. You're just trying to do, you're thinking of things that are in my brain and like making out, you don't know how I feel about any of this.
Yeah. Oof.
And then but I was still
damn, I like her.
Like bullet points or whatever. I still couldn't handle it.
You were like,
she was like, just write down whatever. She was like, yeah, sure. And then she was like, look, just say, all you need to write down is like this, this, and this. However you want to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I could creatively write it. And she was like, I would love that.
Oh.
I enjoy reading that. And she was like, or you can send me bullet points. And I was like, oh, damn, she got me good.
She got you so good.
Yeah. So she's.
Yeah, but see, here's the weird thing. What is that Because if I said that
It's just
to you,
overextending
no. I mean, why is it that you? Yes, but I mean, there's
I don't
also
want confrontation, and I don't want people to be angry with me, and I think everyone hates me by default.
yeah. Well, that's I mean, obviously that's your PTSD response or whatever.
And then
the
I go out
thing.
of my way to make myself
Yeah.
incredibly annoying and interrupt people when they're speaking, or say roast people or attack people, or make myself incredibly unlikable, and then get upset when people hate me.
People don't hate you, Brad.
Oh, some people hate me.
Well, those people are fucking idiots, first of all. And second of all, I mean, like, why is it that the therapist can say to you that very bluntly, but when, you know, me or even yourself, because you've said it yourself of being like, I don't know, you'll be like, I don't want to do that because this person is busy and blah, blah, blah. Can we just talk about it? It happened with Leah, right? We both were talking about maybe asking her to be in one of our shows. And we both were going back and forth being like, oh, she's so busy and blah, blah, blah. And then we both had a moment where we went, why are we deciding for her? Why don't we just tell her and ask her and let her decide if she's too busy, you know? But we both do that where we try to anticipate somebody else, but it's more like we're trying to anticipate a lie that then blows up in our face later. Like they lied to us about what they could or could handle, and now we're trying to anticipate that lie so that we can, you know, and we know why that is, because it's, you know, it's that like narcissistic parenting style where they did lie to you and then they punished you for it later, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But how do we get to that point where somebody dear to us can go, stop fucking trying to decide for somebody else, and it actually works?
Well, the thing is, half the time no one even knows you're doing it because you're just doing it on your own in your room, sitting there doing it for them, and then it's too, and that's it. You have to basically just have to recognize it and you have to stop doing it. That's it. That's the only. It isn't about them.
Yeah, it's
calling
about
you out for the thing. It's about you stopping the fucking behavior.
Yeah. And kind of like recognizing that it's, and this is going to call out a whole bunch of people in the chat. It's not you being selfless, guys. It's not you being nice to the other person and caring about their schedule and blah, blah, blah. It's literally you going, I'm doing risk assessment and I'm trying to protect myself from what's going to happen in the future. And I find acknowledging that goes, okay, and then I can fucking chill the fuck out.
It's you overextending.
Yeah.
On one hand, and it's also just a safety behavior.
Yeah.
It's you doing a safety behavior, and you shouldn't be doing any safety behaviors because you're.
I don't know about any
unsafe.
Safety. Oh Jesus.
You're a fully grown adult.
Yeah.
No one can tell you off.
I know.
No one can tell you what to do.
I know.
You know, you can
It's
just
crazy.
do things.
Yeah, it's
I've
like
got a
that
great
lady.
story that I'm going to tell you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you for setting that up now so I can just wonder what it's about for the next 2 weeks.
It's nothing to do with you.
Okay. Still, that doesn't stop my brain from trying to solve the puzzle, which is its own damage. So don't worry about that.
Trust me, it's worth waiting for the anticipation of it.
Okay. All right.
Let your brain.
I trust you when you put it like that.
Excited.
Yeah. I trust you when you put it like that. Thank you.
Just trust. You're going to want to wait for the
all right.
Reveal. I had to find a word that didn't sound sexual.
I think for me going, I'm safe, nobody can tell me off, or like not even words of like I'm my own boss, but just kind of like I'm only just starting to actually really feel that. I don't want to say I'm my own boss because I've got own damage around productivity and work, but like that I am the adult and that, you know, I will keep myself safe and all of that stuff, even though, you know, sometimes the world feels scary and I'm unsure if I am capable of keeping myself safe. Statistically speaking, I'm great at it, you know, especially as an adult, right?
Yeah.
Obviously as a kid, you're limited, right? But, I've been seeing a lot of stuff that is.
And also, how many times do you get like afraid of something and then it happens and it wasn't that bad?
I know. It's crazy.
It.
Yeah.
How many times have you been you're like, oh my God, I can't handle this upcoming thing.
Yeah.
But you absolutely handle it.
Yep.
Because you can handle absolutely anything. I think about it so much because I'm like a guy who,
Oh my God, really?
you know, I can throw a punch. And
No, dude, that story of
all of my
fuck.
limbs work, you know, for the most part. And there's really nothing going on in my life that is incredibly like, oh no, I've only got a week to live, you know, or anything like that. And yet I live in just abject fear at all times of everything I'm about to do. And then you could put me in almost any situation, you know, you put me in a room, I'll get afraid of like going to like a pub.
Yeah.
Because what if I don't know what to say? I've never not been able to have a conversation with absolutely anyone you sit me next to. I could be in a room full of people. I can be on a stage. You can just leave me in a room with one person, a really awkward person.
Yeah.
I am going to be able to have a conversation with them. You put me in a room with an awful person. I'll be able to talk to them. You know, like, why do I get nervous about it? Get nervous every single time.
Yeah.
You could put like, if there's like situation like, what if I'm walking home and like someone attacks me?
Well,
guess what?
yeah, because that
It's
happened to
happened
you
so
when you
many
were a kid.
times.
Yeah, it happened to you when you were
And I
a
was
kid.
fine.
So that, and you made it.
You're also
yeah.
fine.
Yep. Yep.
It's like, why do I spend I'm so afraid of like everything, and every single time a situation has happened in my life, I've been fine in that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it was like a crazy thing or whether it was just like, I'm scared to have a conversation with another human being at the bus stop.
Yeah. Because you're afraid of
It's
the
nuts.
unknown, but it's not actually that
Yeah.
you're afraid of the unknown.
But actually,
you're afraid
I'm
of
incredibly
this-
capable
Yes, you
in
are.
almost every way. There's very little I don't have at least some jack of all trades ability to be able to at least figure it out in the moment,
Yeah.
you know?
Or know what
Crazy.
what to do if you don't have the answer, and it is not ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
And yet,
But yes,
there's almost never been a situation I didn't know how to deal with,
yeah.
really.
Even if it was
my
to call and
entire
ask for
life.
help. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And it's like, I've handled every situation, and like, I'm not
Arguably
dead.
one of the hardest situations to ever handle, getting clean, right? Like that's,
Handled it.
bro.
Figured it out by
You
myself.
didn't just fucking handle it. You bodied it. Like, yeah, good
handle
fucking,
my shit.
yeah.
But yeah,
you
man,
can do
I'm
anything,
scared
man.
of every situation ever, and I literally cannot stop having crippling anxiety
Yeah,
over every single thing.
yeah.
It's so annoying.
The struggle
Doesn't make
is
any
like,
sense logically.
well, I mean, it does. It makes a bunch of sense because it's not that you're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of the scary thing that came out of the unknown for you previously when you were a kid, right? That you were
Right.
just living your fucking life. And then all of a sudden your literal life is in danger because dad has come home and, you know, there were no cues for you. I think that, well, see, so I feel like that's probably the main trigger point or difference, if I can say that, is that from what I understand, you didn't have any cues. Like I had cues, the tires on the gravel driveway or dishes being done
Right.
aggressively.
Yeah, no,
you didn't have that. You genuinely
it
had
was the door.
anytime. Yeah, like it was all of a sudden it's happening now and your life is in danger and you need to run and hide or whatever, you know? So
Yeah.
so I feel like looking at you now as an adult, as you are, you know, doing all of this personal work on yourself and succeeding, like you are growing and changing. And now there's room for the stuff down on the bottom, which is that scary things happen to you in that unknown space. You had no way of knowing when it was coming or when it was not coming. So now everything puts you in that unknown space. A conversation.
Yeah.
What could the fuck happen? You know, I had no cues to look out for. So you just feel like you don't have cues. So, you know, I'm no fucking therapist. Wasn't this the podcast we wanted to fucking do? This like bullshit. We don't know what we're talking about. But anyway, I'm not a therapist, but I, if it were me, I would start by giving myself cues. I would be like, okay, what would make me feel okay in having a conversation with a stranger? I will look out for this cue and this cue because you didn't, and same thing with everything else. I would start by giving myself markers to look for. And I just focus really hard on remembering that marker hasn't hit yet. So the anxiety doesn't, you know, belong to be there. I don't know if that would actually work for you, but stuff like that is how I approach my PTSD. And it can be quite helpful where I'm just like, oh, okay, you know, like, thank you for that violent image you just gave me of me cutting my finger off. But that's not happened yet, and I'm okay, and I'm actually holding my hand properly. Like, I went out of my way to learn how to hold a knife and fucking my hand properly so that I lower the risk of cutting my finger off because of my
Which is a safety
PTSD or whatever.
behavior.
It is a safety
Like, even
behavior, but I
that
think
is a
that that's
safety
okay.
behavior.
I think that that's okay. If you are,
I think
tell me the
Yeah.
truth. If you don't think that's okay, this is so interesting to me. This is
So-
my shit.
well, I think what you're doing is you're identifying your triggers.
Mm-hmm.
You're identifying like when they happen and like patterns and stuff. And you're coming up with techniques to ground yourself.
Yeah.
That's the first half.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is, we learned the other day the same thing with the fucking music, the horror music I listen to when I go grocery shopping.
yeah, which
Yep.
is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. The knife thing is giving in to an intrusive thought a little bit, because you've thought of, so you got scared that you were going to cut your finger off, and then
Yeah.
you saw it so vividly that your brain actually believes it happened,
Yeah.
and then you felt that fear.
Yeah.
And in order to ensure that it never happens, you've overstepped and over controlled it by taking a fucking knife cutting course or whatever the fuck you just said you did.
Oh, I just look up the proper way to hold it, which is to curl your fingers. That's it. I didn't take a course or anything. But like, even if I had,
I've done
Yeah.
exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
even like, I struggle to even watch stuff on TV. Like, I love watching like MasterChef and stuff. Like, I like those shows for
Yeah.
just brain dead watching.
Yeah.
They're always cutting things quickly, or like just
Yeah.
you know. And I'm like, that every time anyone's cutting something, I'm like, the whole time I'm cutting something, I live in a superposition of me watching the onion get cut and
Yeah.
also me watching it go through my
Yeah.
fucking finger. And
yeah. And so here's the thing, that is going to happen to me regardless. I will
Well, it
always
won't,
have.
because you can beat that.
Well, thank you. I am 40 and you're telling me I can beat my PTSD. I appreciate it. But so
Of
far,
course you can. You
that-
haven't tried everything.
you're right. I haven't tried everything. But what I'm saying is that what
done
I've learned in
EMDR?
my life, hold on. No, I haven't yet. But I had to go through the fucking trauma thing before they would even let me consider doing EMDR. But listen,
Yeah.
so at this stage in my life, with the tool set that I have, that is going to happen regardless of what I do. I will have an intrusive thought because it's my brain, it's my PTSD trying to protect myself from the worst case scenario at all times. This happened to me in the cafe the other day when I was writing and I had my noise canceling headphones on. Some motherfucker got up from their chair too suddenly and it made a large sound. And I immediately was like, I'm in danger, and I just imagined somebody fucking and when I say I imagined, I think you need to have PTSD to understand what I'm saying. It happens in less than a second. And it's not that you're actively imagining
'cause you're
it.
not thinking.
You're not thinking.
You're
it is the intrusive thought. It
instinctively
is
reacting
showing
like an
you
animal.
what is going to happen so that you can now react and have the appropriate response. So for me, in less than a second, that chair sound, somebody's got a gun and is shooting it in the thing, that's just PTSD.
Yeah.
So from my personal experience growing up, I'm going to have that stuff anyway. And it's because my brain is trying to protect me. So when that stuff happens, genuinely, guys, I'm telling you, this was one of the best things I ever did for my PTSD, was I pause and I say, thank you. I'm like, thank you for that, but we're good.
Yeah.
And
100% you have
so
to
there's
do
that.
yeah.
But then I also will sometimes give myself something to anchor and hold on to so that I can say, yeah, but the odds are low because I'm curling my fingers. And that alone lessens the violence of it. That alone has given me less intrusive, I'm cutting my fingers off, because somewhere in the back of my brain I go, well, you can't because my fucking fingers are curled. I'm doing it the right way. So I don't get that intrusive. It's now about something else, but it's less. That anxiety doesn't fucking spike as much because I've gone out of my way to kind of give myself a logical fighting space back with my PTSD. Which, I mean, maybe that's bad, but so far it's enhanced my life and it didn't hurt me at all to do it. It's one thing to be like, well, I'm going to, take a bunch of these meds so that I'm relaxed so I don't feel the intrusive thought, versus getting like a grounding tool to then logically fight your PTSD, which is also operating from a place of logic, which I think people don't understand. about PTSD is those flashes and all that stuff is coming from a place of this happened previously. You were in Vegas when the shooting happened, like all this crazy stuff. You need to be prepared for this at any time, blah, 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 blah. It's operating from a place of logic and perceived threat and actual threat and all this other stuff. So if you have other logic to use against it, then it, for me at least, it calms it down. If I'm saying I feel safe or I am safe, my PTSD is more likely to fight back and go, yeah, bitch, but you thought that last time, or you felt that way this time, or blah, blah, blah. But if I go, my fingers are curled, chill the fuck out. Thank you, but chill. It stops. I don't know. I just said the most insanely personal thing.
Because it's the reason. So you're right. They're both right.
Yeah.
You're right. But it is also a safety behavior that is unnecessary. Because you're reacting on something that hasn't happened. You're reacting to something that you've made up in your head.
Yes,
and
I agree.
You shouldn't have to do that because that's not a healthy brain. You know, people with neurotypical fucking non-PTSD or non-OCD or intrusive thoughts and stuff, they don't think like that. They just cut an onion. And then that's all they do. They don't sit there thinking it's going to come, it's going to cut me. So now I need to learn how to hold a knife and I need to learn this and that's going to make me feel better. So it does make you feel better and that is true. But it isn't really dealing with the intrusive thought, which is the original infection that is happening in your brain.
You have to do both. Obviously, you got to put in the work to actually look at why you're having those reactions or whatever the case may be. But, you know.
But you don't, you are. I
also think I have an incredibly healthy
brain.
brain.
An OCD, you think you have a healthy brain?
Yep. I think my brain is working as intended. I think I was.
Right.
It's a bold statement to make, but I think.
Oh, sorry. We're going into
therapy hour.
Lulu land.
Listen, no.
Oh, we're going down.
Listen, bitch.
The Lulu Avenue.
Sit down. Sit on your hands.
1 second.
Sit on your beautiful hands.
Let me just pull up Google Maps because I didn't realize that we took a left turn into
Sit on your beautiful hands
Street.
And shut the fuck up and listen to my reasoning, okay?
I just listened to you for a long time and you didn't let me speak.
I know. Well, yes, I did. I have a healthy brain.
You didn't let me finish my thought.
Finish your thought.
Interrupted me with, I have a healthy brain. And
I didn't think I interrupted you. I thought you were done with your thought. Please continue. Thank you for the sub, by the way, Boxy.
No, go on. What are you saying you have a healthy brain about?
Well, so I think it's just a perspective shift because I think it's important for me, and maybe this doesn't work for everyone. You know, maybe it's very important for some people to be like, oh, my brain isn't functioning as intended. But this is something I picked up in my previous bout of therapy, which is that my brain is not broken. It's actually functioning exactly as intended. It's incredibly healthy. I was traumatized and now it's trying to protect me. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, but I'm not in danger anymore, right? So, the potential for me to be in danger is obviously still there, but the fact that I have PTSD and that it is reacting in the way that it's reacting is normal. It's supposed to be doing that when you're traumatized. You know, it's just a reframing of going, I don't know. It reframes it into a place of not feeling defeated and broken and like I have to fix anything. It's more just like I have to either retrain or, kind of relearn that I'm safe or that, the extreme lengths at which it's going to protect me isn't necessarily needed anymore. It's literally the same thing you're saying. I'm just not using the terminology that makes me feel bad about it. That's all.
I think you think it's the same thing as what I'm saying.
Oh, but it's not.
But it's not quite. No. Because I am, and again, I'm coming at this from an OCD place.
Yeah, this is what's interesting about it to me. Yeah.
Very much about intrusive thoughts, which is what is happening with things like the knife.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like, there's a loud bang and you're freaking out because you're time traveling and your body's reacting before you have a chance to logically approach what's going on.
So-
you're already like, fuck, this guy's moving a chair, I'm being killed.
Yeah.
So it's just like an instinct, right?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question that may be insensitive, but I'm genuinely curious? Are your intrusive thoughts with OCD, like we both have intrusive thoughts because you're coming at it from OCD and I'm coming at it from PTSD, but are yours rooted in logic?
My intrusive thoughts.
Yes. Yeah.
Some of them.
Some of them.
I
Yeah.
have the exact same example. I have the knife thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Most people do. That's why I used it.
I have like the bang thing. I have like my intrusive thoughts are reality warping. I have the thing where it feels like a car is reversing into me. But
That's
it's just completely
crazy.
parked and still.
Wow.
So I will see it come towards me. It's pretty dangerous when I'm driving because it's happened a couple of times where
Yeah.
I think a car is like changing lanes next to me into me
Mm-hmm.
and it isn't. But I'm like, oh fuck, if I move my hand, if I try and swerve away from that, I'm now just going into another lane. You know what I mean? Which is pretty scary. Luckily I'm really good at recognizing it,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. But yeah, it's a second. So like, I get real fucking hardcore PTSD, OCD, intrusive thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So we can, I think it's close enough. But the difference is, well, there isn't a difference.
I think there might be. That's what we're learning though.
Well, the point is that you're still reacting on an assumption or a belief and not a thing that is actively happening or a fact.
Yes, but when I use
assuming
that, yeah,
that you're under attack.
100%.
You're assuming
Well-
you're going to eventually you're going to cut your finger because you're cutting it the wrong way, so that you're mitigating the amount of chance there is that you're going to do it, which is, you are correct.
Yeah,
Is absolutely correct.
yeah,
But that's just being alive. You don't walk down the street in the road into oncoming traffic because you're more likely to be hit by a car. That's why you walk on the sidewalk, right?
yeah, exactly. It's the same thing as cutting the
It's the
thing
same
with
thing.
curled fingers. Yeah, for sure.
But the reason that you're doing it with the
And I
knife
still
is
got hit
because
by
you've
a
had an
car.
intrusive thought. It's it's a safety behavior. You're reacting to an intrusive thought rather than just living logically.
I don't think that's
In
true,
general.
though. I don't think that's true.
But you literally just said that it was.
No, because I think it's not me doing it out of fear of the intrusive thought. It's just
But
me.
you said to me you had an intrusive thought that you were going to cut your finger, so then you learned how to hold a knife properly.
Yes. So
You didn't cut your finger
okay,
and then
so
learn how
instead
to.
of picking apart what I said and how it was interpreted, allow me to explain further my meaning now that I understand that you've potentially misunderstood my meaning. And that is that I'm not doing it out of fear of the intrusive thought. I'm doing it for a grounding piece rooted in logic so that I can tell my PTSD side with logic, oh, that's less likely to occur because I have done this. That's less likely to, I'm
Yeah, but
less
are
likely.
you grounded, or have you made yourself feel better by exercising a safety behavior?
I think it's grounding to me. It's grounding in the same way listening to the grocery music is. It's grounding in the same way that, like, I mean, I did get hit by a car and that's fucking hilarious, but like, it's the same as walking on the sidewalk. You know, that's a safety behavior, but that's not, you're not necessarily doing it out of fear of getting hit by a car. Maybe when you were little, but now it's habit and you're just like, oh, that's less likely to happen because I'm, walking on the sidewalk. For me, it's the same thing with the knife. I go, oh, I curl, so this is less likely to happen. It's just a logical response I can have to my own brain when my brain tries to give me a dangerous situation. And I go, thank you, next. But that's less likely to happen because I'm doing this. And then I just continue about my day. It's like the only thing that has really helped curb that or lessen that particular intrusive thought. Now, the door jammer that I have in my apartment, that I think might be more safety, operating out of a moment of fear than logic, which is weird because when we look at them, they look like the same thing, but it doesn't feel the same way when it's happening. When I'm terrified about a break-in and I go, you got the door jammer up there. It's not the same feeling I get when I'm like, well, I've got my fingers curled. It's less likely. It really just feels like I'm like, well, I've got the door, you know, there's just fear still in there. I've got the door jammer up. So, it, you know, like calm down. It's more like one is using logic and the other is just trying to calm myself, soothe myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
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 At least that's how it feels.
I think that's the key, is how you're labeling it and being fully aware of mislabeling it, or if you know when you're doing something to just make you feel better. It's like me having anxiety, like we were saying earlier on about, like, say I send a text to someone and I'm waiting for them to reply, my anxiety just starts building and building and building and building until eventually the safety behavior is that I text them like, hey, you can you reply to this? You know, whatever.
Yeah. So does anything help you?
Feel better.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better when they text back immediately. My anxiety dissipates because they go, oh, sorry, yeah, I was meant to text, but I forgot. Here, the answer is 11. And I go, oh, okay, thank God, the answer is 11. And now I feel better. It feels like it's grounding, right? But that's not what grounding is. Grounding is getting back into your body and living in the present moment. It's not about worrying about the thing that could happen. It's not oh, what if someone breaks in the door? What if I cut my thing? What if I drive into traffic? What if they don't text me? What if they dislike me? Or there's a confrontation from this response of this text? It's going, okay, well, I'm imagining the worst case scenario or scenarios, and I've invented the idea that I'm going to cut my finger, or I'm going to drive into traffic, or that they hate me because I want 12 and they want 11, whatever that example is. And it's going, well, there's nothing I can do about that. It's completely out of my control, which is my unknown fear, which is why I'm on this.
Yeah.
And just going, well, what can I do about it right now?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a flow chart. Is there something I can do about it right now?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. What is it? Do the thing.
Not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there isn't, then there's nothing you can do about it. So shut up. And then the grounding element is that you are back in your body and you're thinking about what you're doing right now, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You're typing something, or you're walking somewhere, or you're eating an apple.
Yeah.
So you're back in your body, and what is about to happen, or what is coming, what you're imagining, the worst case scenario that could happen to you is dispelled because it's not happening yet. You know? And you're just living in right now. So this is why I think, this is why I was like, is questioning.
Yeah, I think
is that a safety behavior and a response to an intrusive thought, or is it actually grounding? Because if you're cutting something, and you go, is there something I can do about it right now? Yeah, curl my fingers in. Okay. That's just an appropriate reaction to a knife moving towards your fingers.
Yeah.
And applying genius.
Oh my God. God, she's so scary, dude.
So that's like you applying logic, and that's not the same as.
So that's what I mean. That's why I think we were saying the same thing. So for me, the knife thing is logic I can use against my logical brain. Although I do think we might be discovering a difference in either therapeutic approaches or the therapeutic approach to OCD versus PTSD. So can I ask what type of therapy you're going through right now?
I think at the moment I'm just doing CBT.
Yeah, see, I'm not. And I wasn't doing CBT because CBT is not recommended for PTSD. Now, why is that? And I wonder
for my PTSD.
I need to do EMDR.
EMDR is the most amazing thing that I've ever done in my entire life.
It's EMDR and
it's the
microdosing,
closest
dude.
fucking
It's
thing
microdosing mushrooms
have-
or psychedelics
Yeah,
and
you can probably
EMDR.
microdose.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you should, if I'm honest.
Well, I
Maybe
would
it
go
will
to a
work.
therapist, and I would, like, obviously before people are like, oh my God, she's just going to be microdosing with mushrooms.
I
But
think if you're microdosing and you don't have a very creative and you don't have a very good imagination, it's much better for you. But I think for people who have really good imaginations, it's not as good.
Huh.
Because
is that an estimate, or do you think you have reasons to think that? Yeah.
I was reading some stuff about it, and it's sort of a conclusion that my brain came to, based on. I know very little about microdosing, so it's very different. But based on drugs, I know a lot.
Yeah.
And like ego death.
Yep.
Like, like how some of my theory as to why I'm a little cracked in the head.
Yeah.
Isn't even fully just like PTSD or like traumas and like OCDs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's that I suffered like half an ego death and didn't fucking finish the ego death.
Huh.
So I'm just like half out of my body all the time.
Wait. If
Now
you
that's
don't,
like an ego death, like an ayahuasca trip. Not
yeah,
a
I want to
microdose
know
of,
more
like,
about
of,
this.
like,
If you don't mind,
mushrooms and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Can you go a little bit more into detail about this theory? Because this is
Which
wild to me.
part?
Well, just this
Well,
ego death. Yeah.
I think that I truly believe that like ego death stuff, like full ayahuasca trips or like controlled microdoses that allow you to experience because an ego death is what you need, because it stops you from fucking freaking out about existential shit and you just get slapped back into your body.
Yeah.
And you are less connected to all of that like esoteric shit that's freaking you out, and you're able to just be like, okay, I just want to go and get a coffee and enjoy my day and go sit by a lake.
Yeah.
And we can stop freaking out about all of these things that are going to happen to us because of stuff that did happen to us, right? That's the whole monster. But those trips, people who are just like uncreative, not the type of people who can write a book or like run a table story show, they do really well with microdosing and ego deaths and ayahuasca trips and DMT and shit like that. But if you look at all of the people who are creative types, like writers and stuff that do it, it doesn't work for them. Why do they just go, oh yeah, I did it and it was like okay, and then they have to go and do shit like EMDR and stuff, which is like more logical based. And I honestly think it's imagination, because I remember doing a lot of drugs with a lot of boring people. And I remember freaking the fuck out about stuff on certain drugs, and then not freaking out on other drugs, and they would freak out. And it was really interesting that I always felt like, because I remember thinking, like, sometimes like my friends would be like screaming about the devil.
Oh my God.
And
fucking actual nightmare.
The couple of times that that's happened, I was like, oh, nothing's happening to me. Am I a charlatan? Am I fake? When you get that intrusive thought of like, I'm a liar and I've manipulated everyone around me or whatever. But then we would go and do like more hallucinogenic drugs that are like, mushrooms and stuff. And I would have like the most weirdest fucking, I would see really strange things. It's really hard for me to remember good examples, which again leads into this thing of me feeling like such a faker. But it's more just that entire period of my life is very hard for me to remember. Try and remember that night you blacked out drunk, chat. You know what I mean? You can't. That's like 2 years of my life. So I only have like snapshots of this, but I have the stories, because I remember talking to my friends the next day when we were all sober, and the things that they told me that I was saying that I saw. So I'm like, I'd be like, oh, okay. I remember seeing certain things. One that is always very vivid that I use as an example is when I was sitting at my friend's house and I was looking at the ceiling and I was watching fried eggs appear on his ceiling and then fall down towards me and become eggs in a shell again.
Jesus Christ.
And I would pick an area of the ceiling and it would just a fried egg would be there, and I'd stare at it being a cooking, boiling fried egg, and it would just get heavier and heavier and heavier, and it would fall off, and as it fell to the ground, it would turn into an egg in a shell again. And then I don't know what happened after that, but I would find another fried egg because it was so interesting. It's not the most interesting thing you'll ever see, by the way.
Yeah.
But like all of my friends would be like, yeah, it was cool, man. I saw like, you know, like the color green was really vibrant for me. And I'd be like, what? And over many years, I sort of came to the conclusion. I was like, none of those were creative people. You know, they were interesting people, and they were people that were my friends and I could talk to and stuff, but they weren't the type of person that could come up with fucking Deathless. You know, they weren't the type of people that could come up with like something truly originally creative. They weren't even like able to play guitar and stuff, like even on the, you know, not writing, but any sort of creative level. And I was like, okay. And then I started to have therapy, in which this therapist was telling me, it was like my second or third therapist, was like, oh, the reason that you're struggling with sleep and stuff so much, and the reason your dreams are so bad, is because you have a really good imagination. You're very creative. So it's like having you're experiencing Blu-ray nightmares, whereas people who are not creative are experiencing just like HD, you know, just normal, you know, 360p fucking quality videos. And so then I was looking at all of the fucking people that are like, if you look at all of the creative types, and like a lot of them are famous people, so you can't trust what they're saying, but they don't really get, there's a lot of people that just felt nothing and didn't suffer ego deaths or go through their trips and stuff and come out of it. And I was like, these are like directors and writers of like stuff, and the microdosing never worked for them. Why? But why does it work for lawyers? Why does it work for doctors? Why does it work for all of these like professions, but it doesn't work for creative types? And again, this is very subjective.
Yeah, totally. But it's interesting.
Anything.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
you're safe to talk about this shit with me. Yeah, I find it interesting.
I wonder if I did something like ayahuasca, which I've never done anything as heavy as that.
Yeah.
If actually you would get that, the glorious Technicolor version of an ego death, which might be too much.
That is
rather than
so
the fucking
crazy
SD version.
That you say that. It's
because I would, and you of all people, it's the reason that, and the whole reason we brought this up is I was like, I don't know if you should do it.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was just, it's all based on
everything I
just
just been
said
my
as a
gut
feeling.
instinct as well. Yeah, that's always been my feeling. Like, there may come a time when that will be fine, but it is not now.
Shit in Blu-ray, you're in like IMAX 3D.
Yeah. Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also crazy that you say this because
but also where if it fixed you? That's the thing.
I know. I've done so much
it straight out of you, like, because IMAX 3D is the way to
I know, and you're like, now I'm fine. Could you imagine?
Yeah. The infection is cleared.
And nobody can see me using air quotes right now, but I've done a lot of research into this, and by research I just mean, what studies are accessible, which are not a lot, to be honest, because obviously it's still kind of a newer thing people are doing. However, I am part of a couple PTSD communities, and I have heard over and over again how helpful medicinal and like supervised microdosing has been for PTSD specifically. But there are a couple of people, exactly, ask them their jobs, but there are also a couple of people that I feel like are like,
you read?
That it made it worse for them. So I think for me, it's enough of an unknown that I don't want to, kind of approach that little thing. But
well, the other thing is you have like the drug fear, though.
Yeah, dude.
So
it's not even the drug fear; it's the addiction piece.
Addiction fear.
Yep.
So like, I hate this position that you're in with that, and I get it with stuff as well, where you're like, is it my fear?
Yeah.
Is my fear what's informing this decision, or is it the logic? Which is almost exactly the conversation we've been having for the last hour.
Exactly.
Is it the fear or is it the logic? Because
sometimes
I really
it's both,
sometimes
dude.
just have no idea.
Yeah. And
I was trying to explain that to a therapist as well, like how my brain is in superposition with itself at all times.
Yeah.
There are two perfectly split versions of me in almost every situation, and one says black, the other says white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One says
Yeah.
left, the other says right. One says up, one says down. And it's like one is usually very logical and one is very like instinctual. And they're both correct.
Yeah.
Because one is like doing the thing where it's like, let's learn how to hold a knife. And the other one's going, we're going to cut ourselves. And they're both correct.
Yeah.
It's just that one is born of the one that you have to say thank you to.
Yeah.
Has kept you safe all these years.
Yeah. Yep.
And you have to give them a cuddle. They're like fucking standing there.
Exactly.
They're a big fuck. They're like the
Exactly.
Hulk, you know, and they're like angry and trying to fucking kill everyone. And you're like, yeah, dude, thank you for
Yeah.
hulking out. You
Yeah.
kept me safe a lot.
Yeah. Thank you. Honestly, saying thank you to that part is super interesting. But I think
But then the other part is like logical and is like, well, we got to get our taxes done.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. I need you too.
Yep. Need both pieces.
Anyway. Going off on like
well,
tangents of tangents.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of conversation. That's what makes it beautiful, is that it's free flowing like a river and not a fucking stone that repeats bullshit that we've heard a million times. Like I feel like I've actually learned so much, and I think I've discovered a real tangible difference between CBT and DBT or whatever the fuck one that I've been doing, which is like one of them is a logic-based approach that is helpful for people who have PTSD, but it's not just PTSD, but also have religious trauma, cult trauma, where I rely so heavily on fact-based information because I've been gaslit because I was gaslit for so long. And I know that, somebody just said this on YouTube and it's something I totally forgot. But when I sat down with my therapist for this trauma program, we went through everything. And then I said, they do this standard thing where they're like, what other therapy have you done? And you kind of tell them what you've done and been through. And then she just straight up was like, so CBT's not really going to work for you. For these reasons, blah, blah, blah. And here's what we're going to do.
Different types of CBT as well.
Yeah. So before,
I wonder if they take that into account.
if anything, I think people just need to realize that could be true. And if you've been to therapy and you've done CBT and it didn't work for you, that doesn't mean all therapy won't work for you.
Yeah,
you maybe
they will
need to
always do
find
CBT first.
Yes, because it's a soft approach and it's really easy, to kind of like get into. But there are definitely other types of it as well. So if you are like me,
I'm doing
and
something called a high intensity CBT right now.
that's crazy.
No, I don't know
What does that even mean?
I have no idea. Google
Yeah,
it.
but
I don't Google this stuff because a therapist told me never to. Google
yeah, don't
this
do it.
shit.
Don't.
I was
Yeah,
like,
then
no,
don't
I
do.
trust
Don't
you.
don't do it. High intensity
Hit
therapy.
Is that what it is?
Hit therapy. That's pretty funny. But okay, so to follow this train of thought all the way through to the station is so that highlighted, I think, for me, a very clear example as to why Brad's train of thought wouldn't have necessarily worked for me specifically, because that logical part of my brain where reality was distorted and I was lied to will not tolerate any reason that isn't based in logic. It will fight me on it. So Brad's saying it hasn't happened yet, so you don't need to worry. Will not work on my brain. I've tried it before. That does not work for me personally. It's still very helpful, and for a lot of people it would work, but for my specific blend of cult trauma, religious trauma, plus PTSD, my brain will go, unless you can fucking factually give me evidence, bitch, I ain't listening to you, right? And instead, if I fight it like that and I go, yeah, but I'm not in danger right now, my brain will go, yeah, you remember this time? You remember this time? And now I'm getting intrusive thoughts that are not just, induced by something, now I'm fucking ruminating all the way down the hole.
I can heal you.
Listen, hold on though. The thing that works for me is having a logic-based response. So for me, when I go, thank you, that would have helped me then. Ooh, that just made me emotional. What the fuck? Thank you. That would have.
I knew it was coming.
That would have helped me then.
We had a death pool going.
Yeah, when this would hit.
Yeah.
Thank you. That would have helped me then, but that's not the case now. And here's my logical response as to why. And sometimes that logical response is as simple as my fingers are curled. I'm walking on the sidewalk. If I were to use I'm walking on the sidewalk, my brain might fight back on that one because I literally was hit by a car while doing all the right things. I didn't have my phone out. I looked at the driver. We made eye contact. Like I did all the things you're supposed to do, and I still got hit by a car. So my logical response has to be at that point, if it happens, we'll be okay because you protected me.
Would you be willing?
Yeah. I'm willing to do a science experiment. Yeah. I'm willing to run a science experiment.
This is what I've been doing.
Therapist
recently.
approved. Yeah.
One, I have the same thing where I need logic.
Yeah.
Which is why the sort of the passive, holistic counsel approach
Yeah.
doesn't work on my brain. I need someone who's like, here's the science, here's why EMDR works, here's why this works, here's why this is going to do this, here's the science, here's the test.
Some of your intrusive thoughts aren't based in logic or fact, though. I think that's where the difference is.
None of them are, PB.
Yeah, but mine are.
No, they're not.
I mean, they are.
They're not.
They're based on previous trauma that I've had. It's not based on something that's currently happening, but it is based on a form of logic, which is like, if you had done this, odds are increased. It's not saying that the traumatic thing wouldn't have happened to you.
That's not an intrusive thought, though.
I mean, tell that to my therapist. It is an intrusive thought.
Well, there's a difference
still
between
get the intrusive thought, but I think
your belief of an expected outcome of something because it happened before and you've like thought it out, and an intrusive thought that is happening in the moment.
Well, okay, but here's the difference. With PTSD, it's an intrusive thought, but it's because my brain is processing that part of my brain is processing it so much faster than my
It's still not real.
present. I know it's not real. It's not actually happening to me, but it is based in a
It's illogical then. That's it.
I don't think it's illogical though. And I think that's where the danger would come into. Yeah.
How can it be logical?
Because it's based off of previous things that have happened in my life. It's still trying to protect me. It's not currently happening. The fact that it's coming up in my brain is based off of previous experience or previous trauma, right?
But it's still not real.
In the moment, it's not real, but it was absolutely real previously to me, you know?
But it's still not happening or going to happen to you just because it happened before.
No, I know that logically. But in the moment, my brain doesn't, the PTSD part of your brain is not.
Illogical.
No. It's not based out of illogic. It's not based out of a place of non-logic. Because if I try to treat it like, oh, you're being irrational, then the brain part fights back with the rationale as to why.
Fight back.
But it doesn't always fight back, though. When I say thank you and I go, but my fingers are tucked, it calms it down a little bit. Maybe a safety measure, but it may be a safety measure, but it's still something that's rooted in a place of logic so that my brain can rationalize it and accept it. And maybe that's because I grew up in an extremely high gaslit, environment where my whole reality, I needed to be the one to go, well, wait a second, that doesn't feel right, or that doesn't, do whatever. But it sounds like a safety measure. Your brain is trying to prepare you for something. I wouldn't call it an intrusive thought. I appreciate what you would or would not call it, but it is an intrusive thought. People with PTSD.
No, 'cause the intrusive thought is, what if a bad thing happens? What if Godzilla hits Toronto, right?
No, but see, mine don't ever have that piece. Mine's never rooted in a place of non-logic.
That's not an intrusive thought then. This is just your belief.
That's not true. That's not true. It's an intrusive thought because I'm still living my fucking life. And then all of a sudden, the guy pushing the chair is pulling out a gun. And again, it's really difficult for me to.
Yeah, so
that's the intrusive thought. And it is an intrusive thought.
Happening.
It is not happening now. That's true.
So in the moment.
Yeah.
When a guy is standing up behind you in a coffee shop.
Yes, or next to you in the coffee shop, whatever. Yeah.
You think he's pulling a gun out.
I don't think he's pulling a gun out, but yes. Yeah. It's the intrusive thought presents itself to my non-active mind, right? Where it's like, this is happening, prepare, right? And it's like, obviously my present focused mind knows that that's not what's actually happening. It's less than a second, guys. I don't know how else to explain that. It's like wicked fast. And so if I can then respond in kind with logic, and some of that is like, my fingers are tucked, or look at him, there's no gun. It will calm that part of my brain down. It grounds me in the actual present moment of what's factually happening. But if I don't respond with logic, then it gets worse. And I think all that is the difference between maybe potentially OCD intrusive thoughts and PTSD intrusive thoughts, or at least my specific blend. I mean, we're just having intrusive thoughts, but mine are never like the car is coming backwards at me, unless it's like somebody's in drive or something like that, you know?
The specific thing happening doesn't matter. That's not what defines an intrusive thought.
Well, an intrusive thought is just a thought you didn't intend that comes without your rational mind. Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter whether you think someone's pulling a gun on you or I think someone's driving a car into the side of my fucking car. Yeah. The point, the definition is on that moment being the intrusive thought, not the feeling around it that you have of this. Technically, this could be happening. The logic of like, it could be a guy pulling a gun, because that happened to me before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, that's the logic your brain is telling you.
Yeah.
Is like, this is logical because it's likely because it's happened before. So now I know that it's looking for a pattern.
Yeah.
And it's going, oh, well, the last time this happened, a guy fucking suddenly started moving quickly. And now a guy starts moving quickly. My reaction is, what if it's this thing again? What if it's that? What if it's this? That's the intrusive thought there. Like, you grab that, label it. That's the intrusive thought. The predisposition part is just you having PTSD of, I don't know if it's logical exactly, but you're just predisposed to expect the worst to happen.
Well, okay, I think both things are true. And I think what F-Thread has said is actually what's happening. I think we're just approaching it cognitively differently. You're using CBT approach and I'm using something different. Aniqua, yes, I do get the film in my head, but it's literally in half a second time. I'll see the whole thing play out in fucking record time. I don't have time. When you're like sitting there and you actively involve in the imagination where you're like, I wonder what that person's name is, or what are they talking about? And you have time to actually like think. Because there are moments where you're like, ooh man, I don't like their body language over there. Are they about to get into a fight? And you can engage in that part of your brain that will then play out the, like, if they do that or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's not what happens with at least my type of PTSD or most types of this type of PTSD, where it's like, it's intrusive film that plays in your head, but it's less than a second. And it's basically like visually priming me with what it's deciding is the best approach for me moving forward should this horrible thing happen. It's done all the math and it's now like, get up now. And that's it. That's the intrusive thought, right?
You're still, the problem is that you're responding to something that hasn't happened and isn't necessarily
currently happening. Yes, but that doesn't mean it's not based from a place of logic where it's like, or rational or reasoning, right? So
what I'm saying is you're responding to the intrusive thought rather than the fact of what is actually happening.
No, I am responding with the fact, right? Like, I can't cut my fingers because my fingers are curled. That's fact.
No. The action you are taking is responding to something that isn't happening. It's responding.
And
to
by
something
the action, do you mean like my body?
Whatever it is. The fact that you need to look to check whether the guy has a gun. The fact that you need to curl your fingers in.
So I think this is really important because it is happening. My brain is still happening. Hold on. My brain is still having this response. My brain.
I didn't say that.
Hold on. My brain.
We're not talking about what your brain
No,
is
no,
perceiving.
I am though.
We're talking about what's happening
Hold
in
on.
reality.
I know. And what's happening is in reality is that I am having a physiological response to something that hasn't happened yet.
Which is not my point. So
Okay,
it
but
has no
hold
basis
on though.
on what
That's
I'm saying.
not okay. Maybe it doesn't have any basis on what you're saying, but it has basis on what I'm saying.
You're dragging it over into a different lane while I'm trying to make a point on the first point.
Or
we can go back to this thing that you were saying.
Or alternatively, we're just driving in different lanes. Because my entire approach as to how I deal with my PTSD is in this lane, where I recognize that I'm physiologically having a response and I do something to bring that physiological response down. Whether or not someone has a gun or whether or not it's grounding. I'm grounding my body in the present moment. So it's literally just, I think it's just CBT versus whatever the fuck I'm doing.
It's not.
I don't think that's true.
You're misunderstanding. There's a divergent point here that you're completely missing.
Okay.
You're responding to something that isn't happening.
My physical body is responding to something that isn't happening? Okay.
You're doing something.
Uh-huh.
You're reacting. You're making a choice.
Yeah.
You're responding to something that isn't happening. A chair moves behind you.
Yeah.
You have to check to see if he has a gun.
I don't have to.
What happens if you don't? You continue to live in a Schrodinger's.
I'm not grounded.
Whether he has a gun or not.
Yeah. I'm not grounded in the present moment of what's actually happening. It's like fact checking, bro.
Right. So you have to fact check, is my point.
I mean,
you have to do something. You're doing something active.
I don't have to, but yeah, my active choice is rooted
in order to what you think is grounding yourself, ground yourself.
Yeah.
You have to.
It is grounding myself because my physiological response changes. What I'm trying to do, I don't care if the guy has a gun or not. I'm in fight or flight response. I want to bring that down. If that means I'm listening to a horror soundtrack while I'm grocery shopping, I don't care. It's, that's my way of going, but
I get it.
Isn't that your point?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I think it is.
You're like, you keep skipping over the step.
Yeah.
The way that you ground yourself.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to ground yourself.
Everyone has to ground themselves when they're having an episode with PTSD. Yes,
well,
you do.
But they would like to.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I don't have to check if there's a gun. I don't have to close my eyes and go, that isn't happening. Right?
Right. So you are taking an action to ground yourself against something that may or may not be happening.
That is correct.
Right. You shouldn't have to take that action in the first place. Because you shouldn't immediately assume a chair moving is someone pulling a gun on you.
Yeah, I shouldn't have PTSD in a perfect world.
Right. So the intrusive thought is, the guy's pulled a gun on me. Your safety behavior is, let me check to see if this guy has pulled a gun on me. I have to look at him.
Yeah.
You look.
Well, I don't have to look at him. I could do a million other things to logically reply to that, but I do have to reply with some sort of logic base.
Okay, then.
For my nervous system to calm down.
But I'm presenting an example.
Yeah.
So that we can attach it to something. Because otherwise I'll just have to say, okay, you do something logical.
Yeah.
To fact check, to confirm that he hasn't pulled a gun.
But you do the same thing by saying it's not real. That's a fact check. Well, okay. So let's.
We're not talking about me. We're talking about this example.
Okay, so let's follow this example all the way through, but from what you've been taught.
Let's not.
No. Tell me what you would do in this situation.
Please.
Oh, okay.
Please. Just stay on target.
Okay.
With exactly the moment by blow example that we're in.
Okay.
Okay. Because you keep jumping ahead. I'm trying to keep you in this moment. The irony of that statement is incredible. Yeah. You think a guy's pulling a gun on you.
Yeah.
you do something to activate the logical part of your brain to bring you back in, to stop you from feeling bad and to ground you.
Yes. I
Right.
don't think it stops me necessarily from feeling bad, but it does bring my physiological response down enough that I can then just let
Lay
the
down
ride
until
out.
the-
Yeah,
until it
exactly.
passes,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a 20-minute cool
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minimum. Right. The intrusive thought, the fucking fan is driving me crazy. It's not. It's a guy cutting metal in the background and I hate him. The intrusive thought of the guy pulling a gun isn't real. Correct? As in,
He's
the
not
guy
pulling a
doesn't have
gun.
a gun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The thought is real. The gun isn't real.
Exactly. And for a brief moment in time, it's Schrodinger until you know one way or the other, right?
Irrelevant.
I-
Does he have a gun? No.
Okay.
Whether you think he has a gun or not. In this example, he doesn't have a
Okay.
gun.
Yep.
He's a guy standing
Okay.
up from his chair and he's going home.
Yep.
Right? You think he has a gun.
Yep.
You're afraid that he has a gun and he's pulling a gun on you.
Yep.
You react to that false thought, which is not real.
Yep.
But you're reacting to it as if it's real.
Yep.
And that's the problem. That is the problem.
Okay.
Is that we, as people who have intrusive thoughts, have to stop reacting to all of these intrusive thoughts. The way that you defeat them is that you generate like an experiment, basically, a constant set of experiments where you test the thought that you're having, the assumption or the belief, right? So the assumption is he's holding a gun. The belief is that you're under attack again.
So how do you test it?
The first thing you do is you say, is there an alternative perspective? Is there an alternative to this?
How do you do that in half a second?
Just by doing it every single time it happens. Whether it's a tiny little thing when you're cutting an apple,
Yeah.
or whether it's a guy behind you with a gun. You just keep doing it.
It is,
You come
Mike.
up-
I
you-
agree with
and then-
that. But go on. I'm curious because I think that I really do think this is a difference in approach here. Because obviously there's more than one way to crack an egg. But go on. I'm very curious.
Not reacting is a reaction, yes. But that's, again, not the point. The point here isn't you're not trying to not react. You're trying to train your brain to stop immediately jumping into the worst case scenario and causing yourself to have a response, like a physical response, a fight or flight response, basically, right? So you're training your synapses constantly to just relax and not immediately jump to the worst possible conclusion. So every time you have an intrusive thought, you contest it.
Okay.
You run an experiment where you design an experiment to test the situation. So in this one, you might want to. It's quite hard with the gun one, but if you just constantly thought people were constantly pulling a gun on you, you stop checking every time.
Yeah. So, okay.
You stop.
I think this is
You
where the
stop
OCD
looking.
part comes in. Because the reason they're telling you to not give in to that behavior is because that's the behavior that leads to checking the door 4 times. You're not supposed to
Yes,
give in to
it is
that.
absolutely OCD.
Yeah. But
But I have OCD due to PTSD.
yeah, sure, totally. I definitely understand that. But mine isn't rooted necessarily, and I'm going to say this, it's going to probably come out insensitive, but I have no other way to describe it, but mine isn't necessarily rooted in I need to lock the door 10 times. It's not in that. It's like based on you were in a previous shooting and the firework you just heard for Canada Day is an active shooter and it happens in less than a second. And what I need to do in that moment right now is ground myself in the current reality and go, it's fireworks, bitch. You know what I mean? So for me, it's not about giving into a soothing.
React.
No. Because that takes.
React to the firework.
I did react to the firework. My body reacts without me, my permission. That's the intrusive part. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
So, but see, I feel like the difference.
Have you done anything ever where?
Yes.
What?
So two different approaches when I was in high school going through therapy. I didn't, at the time when I was much younger, they didn't really use terms like CBT or whatever. So I just thought therapy didn't work for me. But the main approach was to either not give in to the thought or to say to myself, that's not happening right now. To say it's not real. But to my body, it's real. And so the only thing that was helpful for me is to reply with a logic-based answer of, okay, either thank you, you're feeling this way, but my fingers are curled. So that's probably less likely to happen. Yes, it could still happen, but equally what could happen is you fucking cut this perfectly, which I think is what you were just describing. What are other possible outcomes to this? But in the moment, it's not for PT. I really think this is a difference between the OCD and the PTSD, potentially, or it's a difference in the way that we're being taught to approach them. Because the way of like sitting there and not, giving into a reaction works for me if it's like I'm starting to ruminate and my anxiety is starting to spiral into something unrealistic. And by unrealistic, I guess I mean like there's no way for me to, I'm not physically in danger. I'm now stressing about taxes or this person won't call me that, like that kind of stuff. Don't engage in that behavior for sure. Absolutely. You need to not do anything soothing in that moment. When I'm in the cafe or when I'm at home in the balcony and I hear the firework, my body physically reacts before I have time to cognitively respond. So my immediate action needs to be to bring that down and bring myself back into the present moment where I go, it's fireworks. And the fireworks is a great example because when that goes off, I sit and I wait and I go, see, you're good. Where I look out the window, it's fireworks. You're fine and you're safe. And I bring that down because my intrusive thoughts about my safety are like, I don't have time to really kind of like sit there and go,
you need EMDR.
Yes, absolutely. That's why they recommend EMDR for me because it'll lessen that response. But you know what won't lessen that response is sitting in the cafe and going, what are the other possibilities while my fucking adrenaline is just like too spiked to think rationally. Okay. I need to bring myself down into the rational moment.
I originally went down this.
I know, a different lane. I think we were just in different lanes, dude.
No. I went down it because of the knife thing. And then we got onto the gun one because it felt like you just wasn't listening to me about the knife thing.
Yeah.
The knife has to be OCD response that you're doing.
It's not. And the reason I can say that is because I've watched someone cut their finger off. So for me, it's definitely rooted.
I watched myself cut my finger off.
That's insane. You're crazy. But that doesn't mean that both things can't be true, Brad. We can't live in absolutes. You can have something that is an OCD response and you can have something that is a PTSD response. You can have something that's a PTSD response to something that never happened to you before or whatever the case may be, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what I do know. I have not been diagnosed with OCD. I have been diagnosed with CPTSD and PTSD, and these things have worked for me. And that's my grounding technique, right?
100%. I feel like some of it sounds very OCD to me.
I think there's overlap, as with anything, right? Like I was told not to bother getting an ADHD diagnosis because I'll flag it.
Safety behavior stuff. Some of it sounds like PTSD response, I guess, immediate I don't know. I don't know how you deal. For me, I assume it's EMDR is the only way that you can lessen the firework one.
No, I think I'm getting better with the firework one. It's been a couple of years. Some of it's only time, man. Some of it's only time.
But like, it doesn't feel like a cure to just go, well, let me look at the guy, or let me, every time I have to cut a fucking onion, curl my fingers.
Well, I don't need to be cured. I don't need to be cured.
Need to be cured.
I don't need to be cured. I don't
need to be fucking cutting every time you cut something, you have to go and learn a fucking cutting technique.
Okay, first of all,
sit there. You have to have the reaction. Your heart rate has to go. You're freaking out every time someone fucking pulls a chair out.
It lessens.
Every time there's fireworks, fucking multiple times a year.
Listen. It lessens. And also, this is just a perspective. Somebody with my exact fucking, a duplicate of me, could potentially say, I need a cure or whatever. But for me and my PTSD, the most helpful thing personally has been to be like, I don't need a cure, man. My brain is working exactly as it's supposed to, considering all the fucking shit that happened to me. Thank you, next. Thank you, brain, for giving me that info, but my fingers are curled. And guess what? It doesn't really happen as much anymore. Occasionally, it'll happen if I'm distracted or if I'm listening to a podcast, I'll get the intrusive thought. But for me, it's like either enough time has passed, or, when the moment has passed and I can logically think about it and I can go, yeah, that happened one time, but how many times has the chair been made the sound and it hasn't happened? And it's that logical fucking android type mathematics that calms that part of my brain next time. Obviously in the moment I can't do that, because in the moment there's a guy with a gun. So I need to just be like,
do EMDR.
Yeah, I believe me, I also want to do EMDR, but they wouldn't let me do EMDR until I went through the trauma program first, the year-long trauma program. And I get why, because now I've learned all this stuff. Forever. Yeah. I've learned all this stuff, which is incredibly helpful. And if I didn't have this stuff, I don't think I'd be able to handle the EMDR stuff that I have to go and do. Because guess what? They're going to be playing the shit in front of me live, and I'm going to have to be like, oh my, I won't be able to ground myself in the moment and be like, okay, thank you, brain. We're doing this to, move on to the next stage, or we're doing this for whatever reason. I would just be panicking and thinking it was actually happening to me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if you do EMDR, the thing, when the firework goes off, you won't scream.
So I'm doing poor man's EMDR, and my therapist even called it that, which is fucking hilarious, which is just we don't have we're not doing the fancy light and everything, but we're making you do all of the things to lessen it. And all it is fucking exposure therapy. That's all really EMDR is, but there's some extra science and some cool stuff with the lights and pathways in your brain, and it is incredibly helpful. People with PTSD are like, yes, absolutely do this. So it's on my list of things to do. But right now, my therapist did have me go through poor man's EMDR, which is like, I don't even want to describe it to you guys because it's fucking awful. But essentially, like, I had to, let's see if I can make it through this without getting choked up. I had to write down a traumatic event in first person, present tense, as if it was actively happening to me, and read it to myself in the mirror every day. Which is just EMDR. Mm-hmm. It's just you fucking reading it in the mirror, looking at yourself and going, that's not happening.
It's brutal.
Boy, I'd love to do MDR where I just do it like 2 times with a fucking flash of light.
Well, you just do it. You just keep doing it.
I know. It's you know what I mean? It's the fucking same thing, but it's the same stuff. Yeah. It's the same stuff.
It's different when you're just on your own with a mirror.
God, it's brutal.
That seems unsafe. I'm surprised they made you do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the period where she was seeing me once a week. She was like, all right, how are we doing?
Surprised they make you do it by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was all the way on month 12. I'd been in therapy by that point for 11 fucking months. So, she wouldn't have recommended it if she didn't think I could do it. And it fucking sucked. But it also taught me, it kind of like opened the doorway for permission to be gentle with myself in a way that I never had been before. So it's literally that experience is the only way I think I shouldn't say the only way, but it is why I'm now able to be like, oh, I woke up on my period. Fucker, I'm getting the chocolate. I'm getting in my bed. I'm just going to read all day. And that's fine because she literally had to walk me through doing that for this, where she was like, if you had a broken leg, you wouldn't be forcing yourself to walk on it. So why are you doing that with your mental state? You're learning how to walk again, bitch. Get in bed, order yourself a bubble tea. She literally was, and I have I'm borderline food problem with soothing emotional eating, right? And she's just like, doesn't fucking matter. We'll deal with it later. One problem at a time. Right now, order that fucking bubble tea because it makes you feel good. Get in bed and, just be glad you did that shit in the mirror for me and then wrote down how you felt about it. Good Lord. It's like baby steps, I guess. Ugh.
Yeah. I want to have this entire conversation again, but with a fucking registered therapist on the call.
I know, it would be so good. But somebody who either two
to hear how wrong we both are.
Yeah, either two or somebody who has
fucking children. You're pathetic. Grow up. And we're like,
But here's
Neither
the
of
thing,
you
though.
were right.
You're well, I don't know if that's true either. I don't know about right and wrong, but I do think that you're speaking from personal experience. I'm speaking from personal experience, but we're also speaking from what we've been taught through our therapy. It's not like we're just raw dogging it. We're doing things that have worked.
None of this is anything that I came up with.
No, I know.
This is shit
So
that
I'm
I've
just
done over fucking 20 years of different therapists.
Yeah. So it's
but a lot of them come back to this same thing though. This, which is why I don't know if your safety behaviors are actually the cure for your PTSD or not.
Yeah.
Because they're just a safety behavior, which is designed to.
Yeah, but so's yours, if you look at it that way. You sitting there in the moment is retraining the pathway to your brain, but so is mine. I really I don't know. I want a fucking registered therapist on this call that understands the differences between the CBT, and the way that the approach that I'm taking. Because I'll tell you what, I've done CBT therapy before when I was much, much younger, to be fair. And I came into this set of therapy where I said, I've done this before. It didn't really work, but I'm willing to try it again because of you, Brad. I also went in and was like, this is the fucking SSRI he's on, and my friend has reported, and we're fucking basically the same person. So is this something? And they were like, no, absolutely not. Are you insane? You need this and this and this, and you need this kind of thing. So I just think it might be a difference between our diagnosis, man.
Whatever I don't know. You're right. It's called something else. It's pre-EMDR, whatever that is.
Well, no, because I did
some of it's CBT.
So the next one I want to try.
It's a supplement.
Yeah, I know. But, the next one I want to try is somatic. Have you done that yet?
Somatic what?
It's somatic therapy. It's where they do, it's the body keeps the score shit, where it's in your physical body.
Yeah, no, where you tap and stuff.
Yeah, where they you're doing yoga.
I have a great grounding technique, which is just tapping.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that. Amanda says, if CBT doesn't click, you should try something somatic. Yeah, bitch, I know. It's hard to find, somatic in my area. In my area is extremely religious, and I have a no-go for any religious therapist. It's the first thing we talk about, and I'm like, hey man, are you religious? Am I seeing a cross on your neck? Because I don't care if you promise me it's not gonna. I fundamentally cannot trust you. I must go find someone else. It's just something that I have to, if we're gonna do work together, you can't fucking tell me it's the Lord's way. You have to be. That's another thing, man. If you guys learned anything from this conversation, it should be A, there's more, Brad and I are idiots, and 2, there's more than one way to crack an egg. 3, keep trying. And 4, make sure you find someone who is willing to either try different things or like work with you on those specific things. So like going in saying, I have religious trauma. And if the therapist replies going, oh, I'm not a good fit for you then, because I cannot help but be like, God is the way. Let me find you somebody that specializes in religious trauma. Because that's the thing. Not all therapists specialize in like EMDR. So the therapist I saw, even though I fucking looked it up, dude, I was like, I want somebody who will be able to rec me EMDR at the end of this. Because otherwise, what's the fucking point? And the website said yes. And then I get on the call. And not only is she fucking religious, bro, but she doesn't do EMDR either. But I really appreciated how fucking blunt she was with me. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. As long as we don't touch religion. As long as we don't go anywhere near that. Yeah.
Avoidance. There's another safety behavior.
Yeah. Well, okay, but here's the thing though. It's one thing at a time. That's what she said. We're not going to worry about this thing now. We're going to touch this thing instead. You want to know what else? I went in trying to deal with my displacement. I was like, this is what I think I need to work on. I want to work on the fact that I, was abruptly fucking moved to another country and I can't find anything myself on how to work through it because all I can find is kidnapping shit. And she's just like, that's not what we're going to work on. We're going to work on this other thing. And I was like, I'm fine with that other thing. She's like, no, you're not. So, one thing at a time, I guess. Fuck.
Yeah, for the record, I still think you're doing safety behaviors. I don't think it's an OCD or a PTSD thing. I think it's just safety behaviors. I think that they exist because they're a short-term option to make yourself feel better quickly.
But the logic. Well, I shouldn't say the logic, but
and you're right. The
it has helped me. It has lessened the intensity of the whatever you want to call it, the intrusive thought. It's lessened the frequency and intensity of the intrusive thought. So,
okay.
It's.
So how do you know it was that?
What else am I doing? Time?
Yeah, I don't know.
It got better on its own, is what you're telling me? Through time?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
After 35 years of not doing anything, it only just got better when I happened to start doing this other method that my therapist taught me.
You're 35 now.
Yeah. So you're saying that it just happened to line up. Just listen to this statement. Bradley, I love you so much. Mm-hmm. You're saying, and you're right, it's possible. But what you're saying is,
you can go full wax Steven.
Full wax Steven. So what you're saying is that in 35 years, it just so happened to line up that time healed me just at the right time after a year of using these tools my therapist taught me. It was time, not the tools.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
That's the
then?
conclusion that you have drawn and put into the words in my mouth. I said, how do you know?
Are you gaslighting me for fun right now?
I think I asked you, how do you know it was that? And then you started speaking and didn't stop.
How do I know it was that? Well, what else could it be?
I don't know.
Okay.
But you came up with a conclusion based on what you thought I thought.
Yeah.
First. Second of all,
that's just the
I
nature
still
of
think
how we
it's
function.
Temporary safety behaviors that might be doing some sort of cognitive restructuring for you, which is the point, right? The thing that you said was like, well, you're doing them. They're just safety behaviors for you. And they're just making my brain reform pathways and stuff. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
It could just be that you're exposure therapying yourself because you did it. You're doing the exact experiments that
isn't that what EMDR is?
No. Listen.
It's a form of exposure
listen for
therapy,
1 second without interrupting me.
Okay.
You are doing the exact exposure therapy experiments that I was saying and you wouldn't listen to where you're challenging constantly
I did
these
listen
thoughts
to you.
and these reactions. So you're constantly doing your grounding technique.
Yeah.
So you're immediately an intrusive thought happens, or an intrusive moment, or whatever. You know, you're reacting to something and you're freaking out because you think you're under attack. Your body thinks it's under attack.
Yeah.
And then you immediately challenge it and immediately bring yourself back into your body. And so you're training your body to not be in that state for as long because you've been training it for a year.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. But you're saying it's not. It's just safety techniques that I shouldn't be indulging in, right? Is that not what you were saying before?
No, I'm just saying that they are safety behaviors. That's what they are.
Are you for real? You
You've been
literally
arguing that
said
they aren't the whole time.
Well, okay, I'm not getting lost in the term, I guess. I'm saying that it's not something I should ignore. Whether it's a safety, because when I think of like a self-soothing safety response, it's literally something that you're supposed to be not indulging in for whatever reason. That's usually the language around that, which is why I was arguing like, no, I'm not, it's not the same thing. That's not what I'm using it for. It's not me sitting here.
But
It might be the same, but you were saying not to do that. That's what I've been saying this whole time.
No, it isn't.
I think we're just doing different. We're just doing different approaches.
One's OCD and one's PTSD.
I think they're just different approaches to OCD and PTSD, right?
But it's the same.
Because yours is. I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same approach. It might be the same thing. Like
I think it's the same person, and they're wearing a different mask for me and a different mask for you. But underneath it, it's the same.
I agree.
Guy.
I don't know about that. Because
it sounds the same to me.
Well, but isn't your technique to not follow that thought all the way through?
What do you mean?
You don't indulge on a thought. You don't reply. You sit in it, right? So that's why I was asking you earlier.
Well,
what would you do in the situation with the gun and the
you're not indulging the thought either.
I know. That's what I was trying to tell you. So do me a favor.
It's the same thing.
No. Do me a favor and tell me what your therapeutic approach from your therapist would be if you were in the cafe and you heard the loud sound and you have the intrusive thought, this guy's got a gun. What do you do?
Probably challenge that I've immediately come to the conclusion that he has a gun.
Yeah. Well, I don't...
Because...
See, I don't know if this is where we're having a language barrier where I'm trying to articulate that, like, I don't think I actively think he's got a gun. Like, there's no moment, and this is something I had to try to explain to my therapist, there's no moment where my active mind goes, this motherfucker's got a gun. My active mind is always like, yo, you're is already aware that
active mind is also to turn around and see if he has a gun. Is that what you mean? My active mind also believes he has a gun. And is pulling a fucking gun out.
See, I don't think I do believe that. Yeah, but my body does. Yeah.
And
but maybe we're saying the same thing. We're just articulating it differently.
I'm imagining him pulling out a gun because I have a fucking incredible imagination. I've seen it fully played out in my brain.
Yeah.
And I turn around and it's a 63-year-old man awkwardly standing up from a chair.
See, the difference is I have the PTSD hypervigilance. So I already know what the guy looks like, how he was standing, what his body language was like.
As well.
So I don't have that reaction if it's an old man pulling up a chair.
Then how's your body reacted to it then?
If it's an old man pulling up a chair, I probably haven't had that reaction.
Okay, well then neither have I.
Okay. So hold on. So if your initial reaction is to turn and look and see if he's got a gun, are you I'm using the word supposed to here, but I don't know if that's the word I'm supposed to be using. Are you supposed to indulge in that? Like, what would you do differently, I guess, with the safety response? If your safety response is to look.
The example as soon as I say
No. Let's go back to the
example.
Sorry. Let's go back to the example. It's the guy with the gun. Whatever. If you want him to be an old man, that's fine. Let's just follow the example.
Tell me what I'm experiencing first. Just tell me what I'm experiencing, not what's happening.
Okay.
Because I'm going to say, I turn around and it's a guy not with a gun. And you're going to say, well, if he was well, in my version of this, it was a woman. And
No.
now,
So that you might actually have hit on a really important part. I don't think I have this reaction unless my hypervigilant PTSD brain has assessed there is a potential for danger. And this part is where it's
but logically,
illogical.
there's
Yes.
always
Yes.
a potential for danger.
Yes, absolutely. There's always, it could be a woman. It could be whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is the part where there's a little bit of illogic, but it's mostly rooted in like previous trauma. So if it's, a certain.
Logic doesn't, I also don't have logic until later on.
So I
You're asking me
think
when
this is
do
my
I
PTSD. Yeah.
When do I logically,
Yeah.
I'm having a reaction.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to immediately logically counter it with a Magic the Gathering counter spell
Yeah.
that happens on a reaction.
Yeah. And that's what I do. That's the most helpful thing for me is to go, oh, my fingers are curled. Thank you. That's the only thing that will ground me in the current moment.
I also curl a finger.
Yeah.
And then I feel better. But it is a safety behavior.
That you're.
And if you cognitively restructure your brain
Mhm.
through these safety behaviors, or through what I think is actually happening isn't that you have safety behaviors and that you're giving into them. I think you're just challenging your own intrusive thoughts. And slowly it's restructuring your brain to not react as intensely or have as many intrusive thoughts.
Yes. I agree with
to
that.
be so hypervigilant, or have to seek so much reassurance, or have to constantly check things or avoid danger.
Yeah, but weren't you saying not to engage in the safety behavior? Like you shouldn't have to do that. So then what do you do? Genuinely, I'm asking, like, what do you do in that scenario?
Well, no, you're right. It's just it was a miscommunication in a way.
Yeah.
In that I don't think you are supposed to necessarily engage in them. But I think you're half engaging in a safety behavior and half, but your safety behavior is both a safety behavior and the logical experiment and like almost like an exposure therapy where you go, he doesn't have a gun, and I know you're going to get stuck on that, but just whatever it is. I think it's both.
No.
And your challenge.
Yeah.
You're constantly challenging the thought.
Yeah.
And by constantly challenging that thought, you're constantly feeding your brain with information that you are safe.
Yep.
And that what is happening, the worst thing isn't happening. And then slowly, and that's exposure therapy. And then you're restructuring your brain, which is allowing you to just be less of all the bad feelings.
Yeah, it's bringing that the system down. So,
safety behaviors is temporary or short term. The restructuring and the exposure therapy of constantly doing it over a year is the long term, right? And the
I think
experiment
Merck's just brought
that you're
something
running
Yeah.
is constantly logically challenging your own thoughts.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask you. Two questions.
And feelings.
One, what would you do with your therapy tools in that same situation? And before you think I got stuck on the gun, I was really just trying to explain to you that mine only comes from a place of like, I'm probably not going to have that if a little old lady scoots her chair back, because that's not my previous past experience of what put me in danger. So it's an active trigger versus it's still an intrusive thought because I still have the thing come in unwarranted and unwanted, but it is very specifically around previous events that have happened to me in my life.
That's not OCD.
Exactly.
And that wouldn't be OCD for me either. That would only be PTSD for me too.
Right. So then, okay. So my first question is,
OCD for me would be after that.
Yes, you start to ruminate, right?
I start to avoid that place. Or I start to avoid coffee places, or I start to sit with my back against the wall so no one's behind me.
Yeah.
Or I'll start a fucking ritual.
Uh-huh.
Checking shit you know. Or
So now
whatever.
that's
For
interesting.
me, reassurance is I'm bad for reassurance as well. Like, you know, I'll have to reassure myself that guy doesn't have a gun constantly.
Yeah. So that's.
But it's a thing that comes later on. The PTSD response that you're having, I also have, and there is no difference.
So, but that's interesting because you saying I put my back to the wall, I purposely do not do that. I'm not able to do it every time because some days you can handle it and some days you can't. But I'd say 98% of the time now, I sit wherever the fuck the chair is available, and I don't need to sit with my back to the wall or a corner anymore. Now that I feel like maybe the difference is that the safety response is what you're doing before the trigger.
You've just done it enough times. You did it once. One day you went in and sat down without putting your back against a wall.
Yeah, but that's not. I'm not having a response in the moment. But that's what I mean. Like I'm trying to figure out where the difference is between.
You've restructured your synapses.
Yes. But I'm trying to figure out the difference between that action and me going, yeah, okay, that feels like a soothing action versus what I'm considering to be a grounding technique, which is the check because he's got a gun when my body is actively triggered by the thing. And I wonder if that's the difference. Whereas if like I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, that guy seems really scary. And I'm starting to ruminate on it. Does he have a gun? Let's check his whole body over and see if there's a lump. That feels like a safety response where you're trying to soothe that thing instead of just being like, no. Whereas when you're actively triggered by a thing,
intrusive thought.
Like the sound.
I don't think it. I think one of the main problems we have is we go all the way back to the beginning of this conversation. And that is not so you responding to a fucking firework going off isn't an intrusive thought.
That's not
Which was the original point we made.
Yeah. I think.
What is it then? It's just a reaction to a PTSD.
So,
it's not an intrusive thought because you're not thinking anything.
So you are though.
You're not.
So here's the thing. An intrusive thought is simply a thought that you didn't call forth on your own. It's something that's happening to you, not something that you willingly participated in. That's the definition of an intrusive thought. You understand intrusive thoughts differently because you deal with OCD. With PTSD,
I have thoughts that are just like I have cancer now.
Right, exactly. That's an intrusive. I totally get you. That is a form of an intrusive thought. Yes.
When I suddenly feel like I'm in danger because a firework goes off and I'm like, that's a bomb. You know? Or that's someone shooting at me.
Yeah.
The intrusive thought is someone shooting at me, but the immediate the animal instinct where your body goes into fight or flight.
Yeah.
That's not an intrusive thought, surely.
No, that's no. That's your body.
That's what you're saying it is.
No. I'm not. I'm saying what PTSD survivors. I can't believe I'm using that word, but that's the word I'm supposed to be using. What PTSD survivors previously could only call flashbacks or like flashbangs, where you have the intrusive visual thought of what is going to happen to you in the next second or what is currently happening. That is an intrusive thought because it's not something we're actively participating in. It's forced upon us and it happens in less than a second. That's the intrusive thought. Right. So my response to that, my body is already reacting now to that intrusive thought. The first thing I must do is regulate my body down.
But those are still two separate things. It's just that yours happened in tandem.
Yeah, mine happened together because of the PTSD. So I think this is where we got caught up because you were saying, think of an alternative solution. And in a normal, if I think about the intrusive thoughts I have that are not in a life-threatening or how my body perceives or my PTSD perceives a life-threatening situation, then I've got time to go, bitch, calm down. There could be an equally positive reaction. You think the world's going to end because, or you think somebody stole in your package because it's a day late. Bitch, it's also possible that, a cooler thing has happened and that, I have time to do that. I have time to not engage in the soothing portion. But when the PTSD intrusive thought for me, like that kind of flashback or whatever we want to call it, which is an intrusive thought, I don't have time to sit in that reaction. I mean, I do. And in a way I am sitting in that reaction. I just have to do it in a different order. So I've got the fucking flashbang of the fireworks. And sometimes it is, I'm currently being shot down in my apartment, which is illogical, right? Like, where the fuck is the vantage point for somebody to be shooting into my apartment? It's totally illogical, not rational. Or sometimes I'm just suddenly back in time. I'm time traveling and I'm back in Vegas, where I'm thinking
would you not say those are two separate things?
No, at least not in therapy. That to me is the intrusive thought triggered by a PTSD response. So for me, that is the same thing.
Things.
Not for me and my therapist. My therapist says they're the same thing. And I think this is where the modes differ.
Yeah.
That's all. I think I'm being taken through, it's not DBT, guys. It's like something else. But because we tried DBT first. But it's something similar to that, because I think DBT is just evidence-based therapy, which is very helpful for PTSD, but also people who've been through religious gaslighting trauma, because you can rely on that fact, right? Which is, I'm not being shot right now, So sometimes for me, the intrusive thought is either a flashback to previous physical trauma I've endured, or mental or emotional or whatever. And then sometimes it's an imagination of what is currently happening to me, as in this guy is standing up from the cafe and pulling out a gun and shooting everybody. But it happens too quickly for me to have a logical dialogue with my brain. It's like when I say half a second, I've seen the whole movie play out. And now I'm now I'm just reacting to that movie. And the first thing I got to do is be like, hey, that movie's not actually happening. And I have to use logic to go, there is no gun. And if the fastest way for me to logic that response is to look and see if there's a gun, that's what I do. I think the difference is, truthfully, in the rumination portion. So please come in and correct me, because I don't know OCD. But with the OCD portion, it would be like, the intrusive thought is, that guy's got a gun, I'm going to die. And then you start to ruminate, and you start to keep check, and you check, and you check, and you keep checking. And that's the behavior that they don't want you.
But that's later. That's not part of this conversation.
Okay. Well, I just wonder if that's the safety stuff they don't want you engaging in. Whereas if you had the reaction and your first reaction was to check for a gun, of course your therapist would be like, yeah, absolutely.
Well, there are three different parts to this.
Yeah.
We're conflating into one.
Yeah.
There's the initial instinctive fight or flight moment. There's intrusive thoughts around that. And then there's engaging in like safety behaviors later because that happened to you before.
So I don't think I have those, if I'm understanding what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I mean. There are three different parts that we're conflating into one thing. Because I have the PTSD reaction thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the flashes of like if a chair suddenly scrapes behind me, I don't just see my dad in my head.
Oh yeah. So
I just feel like I'm in danger.
Yeah, your body reacts. Okay.
You trace it. I can trace it straight back to being 8 years old, and I'm in danger because it's my dad coming to get me. I don't see anything.
Yeah.
I just feel it, and my body goes into fight or flight. Intrusive thoughts for me are, I guess, would be the same thing in that sometime in there, close enough to hearing the chair go, I suddenly do a what if of, does he have a gun? What if he has a gun? What if this guy's pulling a gun, right? And then the OCD is, the next time I go to a coffee shop, I'm now looking around me, checking whether everyone has a gun. Yeah. I'm hypervigilant.
Yeah.
I'm checking constantly or repeatedly checking, people or doors and stuff.
Yeah. So that's where
And then
it
that
becomes the
becomes
compulsive.
ritualistic.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
But that is not the OCD. Doesn't really have much of a bearing on the example that we're doing, which is in the moment.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I don't have the ritualistic. I have the
safety
hypervigilance.
behaviors isn't an OCD thing.
No, I know, but I understand completely because I don't have the part of me that goes, I'm going to purposely sit here to ease the potential for the flashback.
Right.
So, and I think that would have been a safety. Yes.
That would be either a safety thing or an OCD thing, and that you have to exposure therapy.
Yes, but that I don't.
That's sit with your back to people.
Exactly.
And do it enough times that you
Exactly.
teach yourself not to do the thing.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily, like, I have the hypervigilance where I will, and part of that is because I had a military dad who was extremely paranoid and like, you guys see those fucking movies where they're like, oh, I had a military dad and psych, he taught me to look at everything. That's fucking real, man. Like that, they actually will drill you and stuff. So I have moments where I like walk into the cafe and I will instinctively begin to assess the room. Then I have to push that thought away. I think that's what you were describing earlier as like a safety behavior where you're kind of like, I don't need to engage in that because I'm fine, or, sometimes it happens too fast and I feel like I already know where the exit is in the back door and there's nothing I can do about it because it happened without me actively thinking about it, right? Like it's already been provided to my brain the second I walk into the door. But what I don't need to do is keep looking at the fucking exit. I don't need to keep looking at everybody around the room to look at their body language to see if anybody's having an argument with anybody else. Like that's the stuff I don't necessarily need to repeat or engage in to kind of like soothe and make myself feel better. I genuinely will feel fine. I'll have my fucking music on. I'll be writing in the cafe. I'll be fucking oblivious, dude. I'm having the time of my life. And then the chair goes and I'm gone. And the first thing I have to do is I don't have time to, the thought piece comes after, I guess, where I then am able to logically do stuff. But in the moment, I got to ground myself immediately into what's actually currently happening.
So I think the first thing we did was not establish the difference between a flashback and an intrusive thought.
Well, part of that is because the whole
flashback is an intrusive thought.
Exactly. It is.
I still want to know whether I want an actual therapist to tell me if those are two separate things or not.
Okay, well, my therapist said they are not two separate things.
They should be. Yeah, but like
they're not though, because that's not fair to the.
In terms of treatment.
Well, no, because you can say I've got PTSD and they understand what that is, but it's the fucking LGBT
Seems
thing.
Unnecessarily confusing.
No. It's the LGBT thing because your experience of it
which is unnecessarily confusing. Trust me.
Okay, but
as an LGBTQ.
No, I mean, it's the bisexual thing that we've got, right? Where you spend your whole life afraid to be like, I'm gay. Hold on. You spend your whole life on. I know, but it is part of the conversation because you spend your whole time being like.
About it being confusing is just.
No, that's your joke, but I'm actually using it as a point to make a comparison here. So you spend your whole life being like, oh, I'm not, I feel like I don't deserve to say I'm gay because I'm technically bisexual, right? It's the same fucking thing with PTSD. So you spend like 20 years of your goddamn life going, I didn't go to war. I don't deserve to have the PTSD tag. And then you finally feel like you've earned that. And then you go, I don't have intrusive thoughts. I have flashbacks, which makes it seem like it's a fucking movie. And your therapist has to go, no, you're having intrusive thoughts. It's okay to say that. So that's what an intrusive thought is. So everybody who's like, oh, it's an intrusive memory or whatever, like it's still intrusive thought. Intrusive thought by definition, guys, is when you have something in your brain that you didn't actively participate in. It's something that is happening to you. So when you're fucking typing away on your stupid little mechanical keyboard that you built, sipping your goddamn like fruity coffee drink, and you hear a thing, and then all of a sudden you're in danger, that's intrusive, bro. I didn't want that to happen to me. That's the definition.
But if there was a difference in definition between a flashback intrusive thought and a whatever the other one intrusive thought is, this conversation would have gone completely differently.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's just you get multiples with PTSD, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fucking cluster bomb, isn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, this whole conversation, I'm still trying to
do your
erase
format.
the
Your
shit on this laptop.
Are you on the
time.
second one, or are you still on the first one?
I've done that. I'm on my third piece of software to actually delete everything that's on the computer, the full erasing tool thing.
Did you install the full erasure tool? The what was it called? The burp. That sounded catty, but I genuinely was asking. What was it called?
Crucial SSD.
Samsung Magic. Some magic
That's
shit.
the one I'm doing now.
Okay. Hey, you're almost done.
Well, this has taken me a long time.
What I want to know, Amanda, is why you need
out
me
of
to
time.
call it an intrusion. Why do you need me to change the definition for you? I mean, clearly for
Isn't
Brad and
Amanda a
I.
therapist?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, why do you need me to change that? If my therapist has told me to call it this or
This is why.
Yeah, obviously you and me, we weren't understanding appropriately the differences between the two.
When
but
I said an intrusive thought and you said an intrusive thought, we both thought different things. But I still stand by the fact that I think the reason you're getting better is that you are doing the cognitive restructuring.
yeah, I totally agree with you.
And it's the exposure therapy and
it's the only thing that has helped me, in fact.
And the experiments and challenging your safety behaviors and intrusive thoughts. And that's what's doing it, which is exactly the same thing as what you would do for OCD as well. Did you disconnect?
No, I was reading F Thread's comment and I was confused and I literally had to parse it for a minute. What?
Threads.
Yep. I was just confused. I was like, I don't understand what's happening here.
Samsung one? What's he talking about? Thread is clinically insane, right? So
I was talking about, I think feeling frustrated if someone is bisexual is separate to PTSD. I'm not frustrated someone is bisexual. I'm saying that as a bisexual person, I felt like I didn't deserve to use the term gay for a very long time. And I also had a similar thing happen with PTSD where I feel like I didn't deserve it because when I grew up, only soldiers had PTSD and you were just being a baby. So like it took 20 years for my therapist to just be like, hey, bitch, you got it. Like, here's the thing. In this most recent therapy session too, I already have a PTSD diagnosis, by the way. It was from when I was really, really young. When I sat down at this most recent therapy session, I was like, I already have a PTSD diagnosis. I know I've got it. I probably have CPTSD as well. I'm here for a specific trauma therapy. Let's do it, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, let's do the diagnosis anyway. We're going to do two different types of diagnosis. We're going to do the international one. We're going to do the DSV. We're going to do this, and we're going to just do that. And my initial reaction as someone who grew up in a cult was to think, oh, she's just trying to control me and, put me in a situation where I'm spending money and wasting sessions. That's my initial trauma response to that, where I have to go, okay, shut the fuck up, bitch. Let's just do it because she's the one who knows what she's doing, and let's do it. So I went through the thing, and at the end of it, she was like, okay, here's your diagnosis, which is different from Brad, right? Because his therapist won't tell him what some of his diagnoses are, right, Brad? She's like, I'm not telling you because because I don't want you to look it up. And this is a difference in approach. My therapist went.
My first therapist.
Okay.
That was my fourth or fifth therapist.
Okay. Well, my most recent
I got all
one.
of my diagnoses, but one of them was wrong. So then from that point on, she was
She was like, no, you can't. Yeah. Okay.
The last one I had was the thing is, that therapist was the first therapist to treat me for anxiety and OCD.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. Just for anxiety, I guess. Because she was doing EMDR therapy. By the way, I need to eat some food.
Yeah. I can see you getting
my
up.
air fryer is now making
Yep.
noise.
Yep.
I mean, it's a mess. But my first therapist was treating me for OCD.
Yeah.
And something that was called like dysthemic disorder, which has now been renamed to something else.
Yeah.
But it's just like perpetual. It's just depression, but the really low grade, constantly sad one.
I just love the way you presented that.
It's been renamed to something. But that was a misdiagnosis because I didn't actually have that one. I had the one where you become suicidal and crazy, whatever that is, bipolar. Yeah, it's persistent depressive disorder now, but that is not what I have apparently.
Yeah.
But the first guy was treating me for OCD. The second guy was treating me for depression.
Yeah.
The third guy treated me for depression. Then the fourth therapist I had was this woman who was like, I'm not going to tell you anything.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go away and just
Yeah.
obsess on it.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't say that. She said, I this is what I suggest. What do you think? And I was like, you're correct.
Yeah, you're correct.
She went, okay, in that case, if you're okay with that, I won't give you my diagnosis of you or whatever, you know?
So my therapist did the opposite because I went in and I was like, I know I've got this. It's fine. Like I got a diagnosis when I was younger.
OCD though.
I probably have CPTSD, but I don't care. Let's just go. And she went through the whole thing. And at the end of it, she went, here's your diagnosis. You have PTSD according to this and the international and the whatever. You also have CPTSD, blah, 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 according to this and this and this. And I'm like, okay. And then she immediately was like, how do you feel? Because I just wanted you to know that you qualify on all of these levels for this. Like, you know, I don't want to say you earned it or you deserve it, but like there's this inherent feeling of like, oh, I don't know. I think it's just the validation of your experience and knowing, oh yeah, okay, I hit this, I have this. And I own it, even though I have already gotten one of them before, you know? So she was right. She was like, how do you feel? Did knowing this and looking at it and seeing your score or whatever, was that helpful to you? And I was like, actually, yes, it was. It sucked at first, but ultimately I was like, okay, it's kind of like, you know, what I thought. But she's also the therapist that was like, you can go get tested for ADHD, but you're going to flag for it because the crossover between the PTSD symptoms and the ADHD is too high. So no matter what, you're going to, yeah. But if you find it helpful to try some of those techniques sometime, do it. But anyway, I think
I now know my diagnosis is I just she didn't give them to me at the beginning. And then predominantly treated me for PTSD.
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't think I have PTSD. I think I have CPTSD exclusively, because I think PTSD is the reason that you hear a bang and freak out, whereas I don't immediately respond to stuff like that.
Yes.
PTSD is what people get when they're in war, isn't it? That's like a bomb explodes near them, and now that the example is like a firework, and then they react immediately.
Yeah. So
whereas CPTSD is just being in a state of prolonged fucked upness.
From what my therapist explained to me, and that's my disclaimer.
EMDR is so good for PTSD.
Yes,
and
it is.
It's
yes,
less
it is.
effective on CPTSD, even though it was very effective for my CPTSD.
Well, that's because you have actual, you have some instances that you can recall, some memories that you can recall to the surface, and then you can do the EMDR on those memories specifically. Don't they have you do them on feelings based on recalling a time and a place and a memory?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to just recall to as close as possible. But
Yeah.
in order to seek those memories, I had to follow feelings, and then some memories would resurface, which was fucking fucked.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest feeling ever.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But I also have. Well, I mean, I don't know if I even have it anymore. But technically, I had bipolar disorder, and it wasn't persistent, whatever it's called, persistent depressive disorder, which I think used to be called dysthymia or something like that, which is what they told me what it was. But bipolar is so much more dangerous. Like the way that that was really bad of that original therapist of mine, because he just didn't concentrate on the suicidal shit and was like, oh, you have OCD, that sounds fun, and just was making me do OCD stuff.
Yeah.
He was like immediately making me do like exposure therapy on stuff. Like he was making me like eat ketchup and stuff because I wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
But then because I have manic episodes, and it's not constant, you know, sometimes I will just feel fine for 3 months and then I'll have a manic episode for a month and then I'll have,
Yeah.
you know, I'll be fine or whatever.
Gary's about to have a
It's
manic
constantly
episode right now.
changing, it's bipolar. Who?
I said Gary's about to have a manic episode right now. His D&D
dude.
was canceled.
Yeah, he has weekly affective disorder, not seasonal, where it depends entirely on his D&D.
On whether D&D is on or not. Yeah.
But then, but the effect of doing EMDR on my trauma, honestly, I think has cleared me of any bipolar disorder that I had. I just don't. I'm not depressed.
It's
but what it did do was
when you've
make
got
way
overlap.
for
Yeah.
unbelievably, incredibly powerful anxiety.
Yeah.
And anxiety is where my OCD just thrives. I created the most perfect environment for my OCD to live in and just become the strongest it could possibly.
Yeah, hold on. If by creating the most perfect environment you mean working on yourself and working on areas of trauma that you have, thus making room for unchecked OCD, sure. As long as you're not blaming yourself for the way that you. Yeah. Okay.
What happened?
Just making sure. I know you're joking, but.
Is that I did EMDR on trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, shifted the extremes of my bipolar disorder. So I'm sure I still have it, but I don't have the extreme periods of suicidal mania. I don't think. I haven't felt one in a good long while. Which used to kind of ground me in a way, because it's so aggressive and so emotionally fueled, and like it's just pure frustration and anger and sadness, that without that like extreme expression of it, I'm just scared of everything now. It's only fear that's left behind. So it's just like I'm like a little animal that's like fawn all the time. And then I went through a period of about 5 years where at least one major trauma happened to me, that just annihilated my nervous system. And because of that, my OCD, that's the environment in which my OCD thrived, because it's constantly doing exactly all of the safety behaviors of like what we're talking about. Every day I'm walking into the coffee shop of my life and looking around and being hypervigilant and checking everything and reassurance seeking from everyone, because I'm expecting the world, like a nuke has gone off every year of my life until this one so far.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly waiting for the next nuke to hit.
Canceled for this entire conversation and how ignorant we are.
What the fuck am I going to get cancelled for?
I was just making a joke.
Weird.
Yeah.
The weirdest.
I was just referencing your joke from yesterday. Go on, cancel me.
Yeah,
it's just my opinion.
It's just my opinion.
God.
So
I'm not the one with the problem.
I do know my diagnosis. It's CPTSD, OCD, bipolar, and general anxiety disorder. That's what I have
Yeah.
on paper.
Okay. On paper.
Yeah. Which I think as well, like, I feel like everyone has sad now as well. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone gets seasonal affective. Have you noticed that? Like, everyone I know is way more depressed in winter. So I think maybe everyone has that.
Well, I mean, there is biology and science behind how much we need light. So yeah, and exercise and
Probably
things.
just where if you're like slightly predisposed and you have a little depression in you, it just goes to maximum
Yeah.
in winter.
Yeah, I think it's probably like a blend of the fact that our generation also sits in front of a fucking computer. We don't go outside as much, blah blah blah, even in winter.
I've changed
So
that this year.
yeah, I know. You've done great, man.
I'm going outside. I should have gone outside already, but I was
I know.
in
I'm
this
s-
conversation
we
with you
deli- I
instead.
stole your whole stream. I'm sorry, but I found it incredibly interesting and
You actually
informative.
did.
I did. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I just meant to tell you a crazy ChatGPT story. But then, how
So
dare
this is
you
the
for
cyber
engaging
psychosis.
my cognitive and critical thinking skills on something I care about, for having a
And
real
now
conversation
we have
with
to do
me.
This conversation again
Hmm.
with a therapist.
So yeah, no,
But
for
I
real.
think we've already come to the conclusion.
I'm gonna.
We've already
I
done it.
actually
We did
know
it.
one
I think we're right.
that would probably be willing to have a conversation, but we probably wouldn't be able to do it live. I'll DM you
Yeah,
about it, but
I have
I'm
no
super
interest.
interested in hearing her opinion on this as well.
I wouldn't feel comfortable you sourcing the therapist.
It's okay.
Uh,
I will tell
as
you
a
exactly
known
who
gaslighter.
it is. She's not
And
my
you're
therapist.
just going to fucking hire an improv
No,
expert
God, no.
who has to play a therapist.
Could you imagine? It's Miranda's mom.
It's Miranda's mother.
Oh fuck.
Which would be fine.
No.
Because I feel like
I
you
can-
can't I think
No.
you can't therapize your own children.
No. Well, no, you
But you
can't.
can therapize us.
No. I can't. I cannot
Okay.
be alone in a situation. The shit I would say. I am
Oh my God.
absolutely not, dude. You cannot put a bulldog in a room. You can't do that, dude.
All right, well, I was just trying not to.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I didn't know if Miranda was willing to have that kind of conversation online while not being here.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no, Gary. Gary, no. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna let you go eat and go for your. What are you doing today with the rest of your day?
Well, originally I was going to go and try and sell this laptop, but now I'm not going to because I can't get it to work.
Okay.
I'll do it
Hold on. What's the last thing we need to do? What's it stuck
I'm
on?
going to go to a forest.
What's
what?
it stuck on? The tool? The Samsung Magic tool? We got lost
I
in
can't
talking.
fix it
Okay.
because I'd have to do it within 60 seconds and I don't have time.
Okay. All right.
So it's just being postponed till like tomorrow.
All right. Can't wait to
Figure
do
it
this
out.
all again tomorrow. Okay, no. Go
I've
eat
blocked
food.
you on everything.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Are we going now?
Bye.
Can we rate somebody? Do you want to rate Acorn?
Is Acorn live? I don't see Acorn live.
Yeah, I see her live.
Damn, boy.
She's on my left sidebar.
Oh, she's usually on my left sidebar. I see Tom, Leah, you, Orkish.
Ooh, maybe you blocked Acorn instead of me by mistake. Well, would you like to do that? Or would you like to raid somebody else? Would we
Well,
like
we
to?
have to now. You did that thing. That
I did
the
that
worst hacker
thing,
in the
bro.
world always does,
I
yeah.
hate it. But it's
That's
different
the
when
worst
it's
feeling.
different when it's like us. I just assumed I was taking the thought out of it for you, and I was like, let's just pick somebody we both like and we'll raid. But I did that thing that people do in chat where they're like, raid this person, and you're like, oh, now I have to do that.
I'm already raiding.
Yep, I saw. Okay, I'm also
It's already
doing
happening.
it. Okay, perfect. Well, it says you are, but is that working for me? Guys,
I don't know.
am I? Hold
We're
on.
back to the beginning of this conversation.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I know it works for you, but does it work for me? I don't know who I am. Where am I? And then a firework.
Fuck.
You know what would have been the perfect ending to this is we just set off a bunch of fireworks really loudly as a sound effect and then ended the stream.
And then I have a panic attack for the next 20 minutes. That sounds great.
All we hear is a bunch of fireworks going off, and then you scream, but it gets cut off because the raid goes through.
You are crazy.
That would have been the perfect ending. Okay, thank you. We
That's
literally
so
just spoke
mean.
about it for multiple hours about
I know, but
confirmed I am crazy.
yeah.
Well, I didn't mean that I was going to set off a firework to make you get triggered out. I meant that we'd planned it and it was a joke.
Yeah, and you were just going to trigger out half the chat, thinking
Yeah,
I'm dead.
Afraid of fireworks. That's
Yeah.
just you loser. Grow up. You know, maybe just try that.
Maybe just try toughen it out.
Yeah,
maybe just grow up.
Push
okay.
through.
Push through. End it now. End it now.
I ended it. It's done.
Oh, I have to do my raid. Did mine go through? Why didn't mine go through?
You suck. End it.
I suck so much. Hold on. I can't end it or
You
the
said
raid
sex.
won't happen. I'm doing it. I'm doing it now. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Is it working? Oh Jesus.
Why don't you know how to raid?
I don't know. I don't
many
know how to
years
do
has it been?
anything. Why isn't it happening? Chat, is it happening?
Wait, maybe I'll leave the little thing. If I leave our
There, now it
co-stream
goes.
thing.
Now it's going. For fuck's sake.
Wow.
Okay.
Right, now we need to come up with a good ending.
Yeah.
It's better than push through. That's exclusively a private joke.
I can think of one.
Oh, go on then.
I was just going to say we just play a couple clips from that fucking Denzel Washington movie that
Oh my
that
God.
fucking took us the fuck out.
Why is this your thing with me this year? You're just trying to trigger me out constantly.
No.
What is
What do
this?
you mean?
What is this? What is this that you're doing to me? Trying to make me
What do
watch
you
these
mean?
horrible movies.
Oh,
and
yes, that's what I
drag
did.
me
Yep.
into cyber
me.
psychosis online.
It was, by the way, it was my movie to watch list that we were using, not yours. It was mine. I hijacked it and was like, oh, here we go. I'm just going to add this movie that I know is going to traumatize
You
you.
hijacked it like a drunk pilot.